Hi class, and this is going to be our final example video to finish off the examples for the financial statements to help you with your homework. This one's going to look at the income statement. This one says Jimenez Incorporated had the following transactions during the month of March, current year. Prepare an income statement based on this information, being careful to include only those items that should appear in that financial statement. So let's start here. We have, what color shall we do? Let's do this pinkish kind of color. So Jimenez Incorporated, then we have the title of the statement. And then it's for the month of March. So we'll do for the month ended March, and then whatever year it is, we'll put X's there. So remember, what is our income statement? It's simply your revenues minus your expenses. Okay, so when we look at revenues, A, cash received from bank loans of $10,000. That's not a revenue, right? That's just a positive cash inflow that will be shown under the financing activity category of the cash flow statement, but that is not a revenue. C, dividends of $4,000 paid to stockholders. That's not a revenue or an expense. That's simply a negative cash flow or a cash outflow under the financing activity category as well on the cash flow statement. Okay, because remember, dividends, just like when stockholders invest more in the business, that's a cash inflow under financing activities. Dividends is the other side of that, where you pay money back to them. So that's a cash flow, but it's still a cash outflow, but it's still a financing activity. So both A and B do not qualify as revenues or expenses. But B, revenues earned and received in cash were $9,850. That qualifies as revenue. And by the way, as we'll see later, it says revenues earned. As long as the revenues were earned, right, they don't have to be received in cash necessarily. If it just said revenues earned was $9,850, we would still put that on the income statement because not all revenues are immediately received in cash. Okay, and then D, expenses incurred and paid were $5,465. So that's expenses. That's $5,465, and again, even if the expenses weren't all paid, but as long as they are incurred, you record that expense on the income statement. Later on, obviously, we're going to have more listed under revenues and expenses. There's going to be a long list of expenses. Here we're just summarizing and doing a general subtotal of expenses later on. But for our purposes for this chapter, we're just trying to get the main idea behind this. So now we have revenues minus expenses, and then we can calculate net income. So let's calculate that. So we have 9,850 minus 5,465 gives us 4,385 here. And again, this is a really mini income statement. When we move on later on in this class, this is going to become a very long statement because of all the different expenses that we will be looking at. So that's just a general look at how you organize an income statement and what is included and what is not included in an income statement.